Thank you. All sit down, relax. We're here tonight to talk to you about success. That's your decision for your success. Bertie and I signed up in this business November 1st, 1964. We were a couple young 25-year-old kids living on an alley in Rome, New York. The only thing we had going for us was a dream. It's the only thing. And you know, when you've got that dream and you go out and share it, that's when you start knowing whether you're a leader or you're going to limp home and cry. You know, you got to get rid of the loser's limp. Leaders lead. Winners win. And it's a choice. I get so sick and tired of hearing people talk about luck, luck, luck. That's a loser's excuse for a winner's energy, efforts, and commitment over a long period of time. It's an excuse, it's a cop-out. I'm not going to promise you anything in this business. Your sponsor can't promise you anything. This company can't promise you anything. Dexter and Bertie Yeager 25 years ago promised themselves something, and they had a plan they could achieve that promise on. We never gave up on our dream, and we never gave up on our promise. And when we promised other people we'd go out and work with them and help them, we always came through with that help. And it wasn't a matter of what happened to us. Success is that committed decision you're going to make it, regardless of the breaks, because winners make their own breaks. You know, you have a choice. The attitude you carry is your decision. It's your decision as to whether you're going to have a winner's attitude or a loser's attitude. If you're going to get in this business or any other business of any other kind, the biggest thing you're going to have to deal with all your life is rejection. Rejection. There's always going to be somebody out there trying to tell you you shouldn't be doing what you're doing, that what you're doing won't work, that it's too early or it's too late. You know what I've noticed through the years? The excuses don't change. Just the faces. Just the faces. People always tell me about this place and that place. People are the same every place. You just got to find the hungry ones in the places you go to. When you find the lazy, the quitters, the negative people, we've either got to change them or they've got to change themselves, or we got to change the people we're talking to. It's that simple. Change is a part of life. That's a part that most people don't understand. Almost everything I've done all my life, I was the wrong guy at the wrong place at the wrong time, according to other people. But I always believed I was the right guy at the right place at the right time. You know, I don't look for the sharpest people in the world to sponsor in this business. I look for the hungry people. Because a hungry guy can always pass a sharp guy. Hungry guys end up hiring sharp guys to work for them. That's very true. I remember when I've done a little bit of everything in our past. I remember when I was a young kid, I used to dream big. I dreamt someday I'd own my own construction company, Yeager Construction Company. I dreamt someday I'd have a bunch of apartment complexes. I dreamt someday I'd have some shopping centers. I dreamt someday I'd have some office spaces. And you know, I'll never forget, Bertie and I have always been tightwads. We've always watched our dollars. And you know, we got married. We were a little bit shy of being 18. We were young kids, but we were ready. And that was 33 years ago. And you know, I believed you looked and found the girl you wanted to marry. You got that out of the way. And you start looking towards success. You know, so many kids today, they got to have all this fun before they start on the road to success. And then somewhere between fun and time to get ready to succeed, they got old. Now they're too old. I don't believe we're ever too old or we're ever too young. It's up to us as to what we want. Life is something that happens to most people while they're trying to find out what they're going to do. The problem with most people is that they expect life itself to take care of them. And you got to take care of your life. It is your life. I see some people get in this business and say, I'm not doing this for Amway. I'm not doing this for Upline. Yeah, I didn't do it for Amway. I didn't do it for Upline. I did it for my wife and kids. I did it for my business. Someday you got to realize this is your business. And when it's your business and you start treating it and nourishing it like you do your favorite whatever, then it'll grow and it'll fly. Anybody can do it, but not everybody will. I have to laugh. For 25 years I've heard about saturation. Took me a long time to realize when you got a little bitty mind, you believe saturation. When you realize how big the world is and that there's new people coming of age every day, you realize we haven't gotten started yet. It'll never saturate because there's always more people that'll say no than will say yes. The same guy that tells you about saturation says no. He proves his theory don't work, but he's too stupid to understand it. That's right. I don't care tonight what your dream is, but you got to care because you make the difference. And it's not whether you're 20 years old or 18 years old or 44 years old or 92 years old. It's what you've got stored up in here. Too many people try to separate all these separations. I have to laugh about all these different groups and all this different garbage going around. People are trying to make every kind of excuse in the world why people fail instead of giving them every reason in the world to succeed. You know, we talk about minorities. I get so sick and tired of hearing about the poor minorities. The minorities that wanted to do something about it are now called the rich. And they're a minority still. And they're every race and every religion and every background. But they never got hung up on the rejection that other people give you. I'm going to give you a little message for any of you that got a hang up about any particular minority group. And that's real simple. People that normally succeed got their teeth kicked in so bad they did something about it. And when we stop kicking everybody's teeth in, they'll quit trying to perform. The majority of people that are highly successful in life came up and they were rejected in school. They didn't have the nicest clothes. I made sure my kids didn't have the nicest clothes when they went to school. I didn't want them to be the best dressed kids. If a little rejection helped me, a little rejection will help them. Sometimes we work so hard to make everybody acceptable, they don't feel any rejection. They're comfortable being broke. That's called middle class. Do you want to be at the top, the bottom, or in between? It's up to you. If you want to be on the top, you got to make a decision to be there. You got to go for it. You can't let anybody steal your dream. There's hardly anything that I've ever done that somebody didn't try to steal it. I remember when I first went, I was about 17 years old. I decided I want to be a car salesman. I always loved cars. So I went down to the Chevy dealership, and the sales manager told me I couldn't sell cars. I was not a salesman. I had a little stuttering problem, and, I just couldn't do it. So I accepted it. I accepted that rejection and went back to where I was working at Sears and said, well, I'm stuck here. But a little while after that, I got married. And then I decided, well, I got to economize. I got a couple-year-old car. I'll sell that and get me a pickup truck, because when you were under 25, in those days, insurance was pretty high until you hit 25, and with a pickup truck, you could save money. So I decided to get the pickup truck. So I went out to the Ford garage to buy a pickup truck, and the sales manager said, aren't you the guy that sells lawnmowers and hardware and paint, the electrical over at Sears? I said, yeah. He said, I want you to sell cars for me. And I went and told him how I couldn't sell cars because the Chevy dealer told me. And he said, Dexter, let me tell you something. Chevy dealers out of business. We're still here. We were here before them and since them. They're gone. I hire salesmen. I train salesmen. I'm telling you, you can do it. That's good. But he was hitting hard on me, and I'm going like, oh, God, I don't know. So I said, well, let me talk it over with my wife. And that's a good cop-out. By the time I got home, we'd set up an appointment to have lunch the next day. By the time I got home, I walked in our apartment 3 stories up. It was in a shack of an area, paying $25 a month rent. And that goes way back. And walked in the house, and I said, honey, guess what? I'm going to start selling cars. I made my decision up on the way home, but I needed time to think. I went and told, well, the next thing I had lunch with the guy the next day. We set up on a time. I did what was right. I said, I'll give you two weeks, I'll come to work. I went back, told the manager, the store manager at Sears, 2 weeks. I was quitting. He said, well, you're handling money in the cash register and everything, like I had been for 3 years. So if you're quitting, it's as of tonight. Oh, I'm shocked. I mean, I had never had that before. I heard you give people 2 weeks notice. So I'm through as of that night. I'm going like, oh, man, where am I? So I went, at lunch hour, I was a little nervous, and I guess I spilled my guts out to a couple of the older gals there, and they went in and jumped all over the boss. The boss called me in at 5 o'clock, offered me a raise. But I was smart enough at that point to realize I'd been asking for a raise for over a year. If this is what I got to do is quit every time, what am I going to do when I'm 50? How many times can I quit? And when are they going to take me serious and say, yeah, that's it? So I realized somebody else controlled my life all the time I had a job. And in our life, I think some of the best things we can do for our kids. I remember back when I was a young kid and I had to get up every morning and trek through the snow to take my morning papers before I went to school. Did the paper route. I find out that most people that have a paper route learn money management. You learn you can only let people go so far, otherwise it's money out of your pocket. You only make a few pennies on each paper, but if they don't pay you, it is big bucks. So you got to learn to be a businessman and manage money and pay bills, and you learn that early. I remember one of the first arguments we had after we got married. I remember the one we had before we got married. The one after we got married is one time when I came home, Bertie had all these little books out and envelopes, and she was going to do our managing of our money. I said, I've been managing money all my life. Always made all my own money since I was 9, 10 years old, never asked mom or dad for anything. I don't need somebody to manage the money now. I'm doing it. That was our first argument after we got married. First argument before we got married was when her mother took us down and was showing us a nice bedroom set she wanted to make the down payment on for us to have, and we were going to make the payments. I said, I'm not starting off marriage with payments. I'd rather start off with junk than payments. But see, I was strong, and I've always been strong in what I believed in. And most of us are strong in our beliefs, but we need something to make them surface. And for a lot of you, you might seem like you're changing. You say, God, this isn't like me. But you're surfacing the beliefs that you've always had, and you have the chance to surface them through this business. Yeah, today is the first day of the rest of your life. You and I are just beginning. We're just beginning. Rejection, we've had it. I've had it just about every place that I went at some point along the line. It doesn't make any difference. The rejection you get, it's how you handle it. I remember if I'd asked some pretty girl when I was in school for a date, or if I'd go to the school dance and I ask a girl to dance and I get rejection, my immediate answer is I have to have victory. I got to go find somebody else to ask. I'm not counting no's, I'm only looking for yeses, so I went looking for a yes. I remember the time one of the girls I was dating broke up with me before a dance. I said, I am not staying home like some of my buddies would. I'm going to that dance tonight. And I just started thinking, who does she look up to? Because that's the girl I'm going to take home. Because I learned along life, a lot of people hurt you, and you're going to have hurts in life. But it's not how bad you get hurt. It's how you handle your hurts. You got to reach for the stars, not live on your scars. Are you living on your scars, or are you reaching for a new star? I remember shortly after we got in this business, we went out and showed the plan to a lot of people, and some people would say, well, Dexter, you're a salesman, you can do it. And I tried to cover that with them, but I wasn't such a great fighter in that. I tell them, well, I'll help you, I'll do this, I'll do that. But when they were praising me a lot, it was hard for me to fight with them. But I'll tell you, the ones that said, you'll never make it, it won't work, who'd want to get involved in that dumb thing? I'd smile and say, I'm going to do it. It's going to work. You know, I would not argue, get mad, or fight with the guy. I'm the type person that gets mad later. On the way home, I'm the type guy that would say, you'll eat them words, baby. You're going to eat them words. And that's the type decision you got to make. You got to make winning decisions on your hurts. When we got involved in this business, a lot of people hurt us, a lot of people tried to hurt us, but I closed my mind to those hurts and looked at my dreams. In life, you're either looking at your dreams or looking at your hurts. And the more we look at our hurts, the more we hurt. The more we look at our dreams, the more people can look and see the stream as we go by. It's just that simple. Take the simplest thing. Give it your dream. Make it give you your drive. Make it give you your drive. I can look and look and look through the business. I remember I made direct. After I made direct in 60 days, after making direct, there was nobody showed the meetings for us. I was shown the plan. I had to go out and start showing it the first time myself. I showed it every night, night after night. I was going on 1 or 2 hours sleep a night. And I'll never forget, after I made direct, there was nobody to give me any dream, and for 3 years I floated. And after 3 years, I found my first books and my first tapes, and I found my first buddies. I made those guys that records and tapes that I could buy. I paid $25 and $30 22 years ago for one little tape, maybe a Zig Ziglar tape, just one of them. And I know Zig was here earlier. Zig will be with me next week. Zig and I have become good friends. But I remember when I picked those tapes up and I thought, wow, I'd like to meet that guy someday. Because I knew what I'd gained from some of his tapes. And I made him a personal friend of mine before I ever met him. And when I had my stroke 4 years ago, he was one of the first ones to call me in the hospital and tell me, hey, hang in there, guy. Hang in there, guy. You know, and I'll tell you something along the line in life. People are going to tell you work hard, and what's it worth? Is it worth all that material and all that other stuff? You're going for materialism. Your dreams may be materialistic, but God made the dreams. He made the materials. I prayed and prayed and prayed for months for a business opportunity. I asked God, help me have my own business. And this is the only thing that came by. I believe this was God's answer to my prayers. And I know so many people that pray and pray and pray, and we show them the business, and they're still praying, and they wonder why they're not getting an answer. They got it. They just rejected God's answer to them. I can tell you step by step through my life if I had 3 days. All the rejection, but I don't live on the rejection. I live on the dreams and the success. The rejection's got to give you energy. It either defeats you or energizes you. I was talking to a girl just yesterday, young gal, probably 25 years old, and she was telling me somebody had shown her the business, but she couldn't ever talk. She couldn't get up in front of a group. I said, sounds like my story. I skipped school so I wouldn't have to give an oral book report. I did one-to-ones. And then my upline director was going to come and do a meeting. I got all my people there and he didn't show up. And I talked to a couple other guys, and one of the other guys got up to do it, and he was bombing so bad. Thank God. I didn't realize it then, but fear deals with you. I had the fear. I couldn't get up in front and talk to 60 people. Are you kidding me? But then I heard him talk. I said, God, my 60 people are going to quit. I got to do something. And I went up and said, there's a phone call for you. Now, he was up doing a meeting. I walked up in front of the group and said, you got a phone call. And I took over. And I went on for 3 hours trying to retain what I put 60 days into building. That's when I decided somebody had to do it, and it looked like it was me. I got in this business immediately. I said, I'm going to go out and find 10 great guys. I can't do this, but I'll find 10 that can. And as I kept finding them that could, they didn't have as many guts as I did. They leaned on me and leaned on me and leaned on me. So I had to help them do it.